I wanted to ask you, how did you get started in acting? I mean, that's one. And two, you and Betty White, Betty, what the heck is that woman's name? White, have such a longevity. And what do you attribute that to? I mean, both of you are comedians, so that might be something to do with it. Notice y'all.
I like to change. If I do one thing, then the next thing I do, I want to be different from that thing that I just done, which I think helps a lot. And I've always been invited to do something, so I never had to, not that it's bad, it's helpful, good. I never had to make rounds in New York, or I never lived in a cold water flat, or any of that. I had very good fortune, I think, in the people I met. And, I'm a good reader. I was a good reader in third grade. I used to, Mrs. Shannon would have me read to the third grade. And that's the beginning, I think, of when I thought, oh, I can do something good, that she picks me up to read to the class. I lived way outside of Des Moines, about 3 miles east, out in the country on an acreage. And the east side schools were the poorer. That was the poorer area. That's where my schools were. And I think I spoke better just naturally because of my parents. And was always a little ahead because of having had the people who could have taught me, my parents, who were living there as newlyweds, because they didn't have any money, and built a little house, a little brown shingle house out in the country. But that set me ahead of myself, I think. Then I skipped 2A, so all those little things kind of helped make me feel like I could do something. Then when I was reading to the third grade class, then I was always late. My father would drive me to school in his black Buick, and I was always late, so I always had to do multiplication tables in the back row to make up for being late. So I learned that. Then, when I started playing the piano at 7, that's when my life started up. Talents and music and classical music just, oh my God, classical music comes from somewhere else. I'd sit down at the piano and just start to play, and it's as if it's all different, and as if I'm in tune with something else that's not on this earth, or it's classical music. So, and the music of my time, I was born in 1926, so I'd hear, oh, the music goes round and round, oh, ho, 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 when it comes out here. Or dozy dotes and maresy dotes and dozy dotes and little lambsy divey, little stupidest songs. So I never listened to them. I just only play classical music. But it kept me apart from the everyday stuff, I think, where I would have been still living in Des Moines maybe and raising chickens or something, which could be fun, wonderful. But this kept me, I didn't have any friends out there. There wasn't anybody near us. We lived very alone. So I didn't have friends that I'd hang out with or talk on the phone with, which was really good for me, I think. It didn't distract me, and I got to plumb the depths of myself. Piano was just something magical. I would hear it in my brain how it should go, and then to try to make your fingers do what you heard in your brain was the goal.
Do you still play today?
A little bit. I play in my one-woman show a little bit. Nice. I played last night at my son's. He plays saxophone better than anybody in America, I think. So I played, and he played his sax with me. It was his evening of playing. A wonderful gig.
Now, if you were starting today as an actor, which, what advice would you give them? I mean, you see a lot of the celebs, quote unquote, now, who have pretty much gotten to fame by scandal. They're not necessarily by talent. What advice would you give them to steer them away so that they're known for their talent as opposed to scandal? Did that make sense?
I wouldn't give any advice. No, it's all experience, and all experience just feeds into what we're doing, into acting. All of it, every bit of it. You never know when you're going to call on some little thing you never even expected. Is useful. It's all useful.
Well, how have you stayed away from scandal? I mean,
I think I wasn't in scandal in those years of my life when I would be involved in scandal. I'm glad I kind of made a decision about that. I mean, I kept back a bit. I always knew that I would be successful. It never occurred to me that I wouldn't be. Oh, I hope I can be. It was never that. It was just when I am. I always had success, always. And always invited to do somebody to see it and invite me to do something else. So I never had fear with it or hope or wondering. It was just to be really good. I wanted to be my best.
so was acting the first choice that you had, or was it?
I was either going to be a social worker or an architect or marry an architect, because in those days you didn't hear about any women architects, or a concert pianist, or a radio actor so that I could be with my family, because I knew I'd have children. I wasn't going to question that, just do it. And so I'm kind of a social worker anyway in my work. I'm always giving back rubs and helping people lose weight. And an architect, my husband once, in this house I had for 32 years in Mandible Canyon, I did something. He said, how much was that? How much was that today? I said, you're never going to quit, are you? You are never going to quit. I said, no. So I guess I'm not. But I bought my house for $103,000. I mean, I've been in a condo for 11 years. For 32 years before that, I bought my house for $103,000. And I probably put $1 million into it over the years. And I sold it to the first person who saw it for $3.3 million 11 years ago.
Not a bad return on investment.
Pretty good.
Not a bad one. Yeah.
So it's really fun to do that.
Yeah, I would say that. Now, you still work. Still, you have your great one-woman show and so forth. So do you think maybe the secret that you and Betty White have is don't retire, refire?
Sure. Why retire? To what? Some people want to play golf. Oh, okay, go play golf. But this is so interesting. There's always some wonderful project, wonderful people, talent, and you don't know what's going to happen. And you're kind of a detective as an actor anyway. You have certain clues, and you have to figure out who you are. And many years ago when I was doing live television in New York before I came out to Hollywood, I was on Suspense Theater. And a few weeks later, I had a part exactly like what I'd done. I know, well, I've done that already. So I had to think, how could I be the same but different? Same but different. And in working that out, it was a really good opportunity for me and a good lesson. And so I'm always looking for those little things that determine who you are in an interesting way. That was the beginning of where, and then I think I became a character actor.
And you wrote your autobiography, which is
All sold out.
it is all sold out. So it's cool. And what was the motivation behind doing that? I mean, what major gem would somebody take from reading it?
I don't know.
Or do you think so? What is one piece of advice that maybe you given her that maybe you think somebody else?
I don't give advice, really. I tell everybody what to do and how to do it all the time.
Exactly.
But it's not advice. It's go do that now. What have you been eating? You're going to lose weight. What are you going to do? Cut it in half and move around a little bit more and whatever.
So you take more of a direct approach.
Definitely.
I like
Take it like this. It's just shake it. What are you going to do about this? No, because I think it works better than saying, what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about this guy today was so fat, and I said, what did you swallow? That's not a lot of eating different meals. You swallowed a whole animal at one time. He was bulging. But I wrote my number down. He's going to call me when he knows his weight.
Nice.
Well,
nice and incentive.
right
Because he
in
was
there.
one of your big fans too.
Yeah.
That's a great incentive. Great incentive. I like that. Cool. Thanks so much for talking. Thank you.